a lot of business owners are very hard on themselves, and they become so involved in the business that they don't see the good that they're doing because they're not taking a helicopter view of their business. They're too busy, like firefighting or actually doing the business.
Welcome to the Business Behind Your Business, conversations to help your business grow and thrive. Hi, I'm Paul Sweeney, founder of Premium Solutions, chartered accountants and certified business advisors, hosting the Business Behind Your Business. Welcome back to the Business Behind Your Business, and again I'm joined by Rita Morar, and we're going to be looking at part 2 of our discussion on the 5 pillars of success. Now, if you remember last episode, we really jumped deeply into this discussion of what's a primary motivator and why people need to understand what motivates them to have a really successful personal life and business life as well, so to make sure that you actually achieve your goals. And I'm talking with Rita Morar, and Rita does a lot of work. So she's a growth and personal development coach with Keystone Business Advisory, and it's great to have Rita back, and we're going to really look at the remaining pillars of success. So Rita, glad to have you back. Where would you like to get started with the remaining pillars of success?
Thank you, Paul, and hello back to all the listeners. So if you remember the last segment we had, we are discussing the 5 pillars of success to achieve your life and career goals. And we spoke about our first pillar, which was, how to identify your primary motivators. The other one I want to talk about now is how to take charge of your negative self-talk. And I know we all have that. We all have that inner voice. I know I do. And sometimes I sit there and I'm going, oh, I don't think I can do this. Or maybe no. Even though I know how to do something, I'll always feel that something in the back of my mind is stopping me. And so we're going to discuss how to take charge of that. So, listeners, we become what we think about most of the time. And that is the strangest secret, as Earl Nightingale once said. Negative self-talk is the inner dialogue we have with ourselves that may be limiting our ability to believe in ourselves and our abilities to reach our potential. So if we're going to continue sitting there every day and saying, oh, I hate my boss, I hate my job, well, then that's exactly what's going to happen. So we need to turn that into something positive. Okay, so we don't like this job, we don't like what we're doing. We need to take action. And that action is finding out what your motivators are. I can't stress that, listeners, enough. Finding your motivators is going to be a life-changing thing for you. So while our thoughts, opinions, and beliefs may have been imagined or ingrained from early childhood, we tend to believe them as the absolute truth. So when we're young, and they say from the ages of 3 to 7 is when you really absorb like a sponge. So if, your parents told you something, that is what's going to be ingrained. If your friends told you something, that's going to be ingrained. So this tends to impact on everything we think and do in life then. And what it does is it stops us from moving forward and growing personally and professionally. So if everything was positive in your childhood, well, then you start going into that mold, which I think it's fair to say that none of us would have that. We all have some kind of demon behind, or, negative self-talk, or don't do this, or you can't do this, or you shouldn't do this. And just bringing back to that scenario I had where, a mom's telling her son, no, you shouldn't do the trade. You have to do this. So that child then starts thinking, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I can't do this. I shouldn't do this. And then doesn't take that. But what happens is it's getting ingrained in his subconscious mind. So taking charge of this negative self-talk and limiting belief helps us to focus with a positive attitude, right? We then come to say, right, now this is all negative. I need to start looking at what's positive. Once you do that motivational map and you find what is your motivator and what's motivating you, you immediately start to get a sense of where you're going, and that positivity starts coming forward, and you run with that positivity.
So you were talking like about being able to take charge of our negative self-talk, and look, everybody has negative beliefs, and you know they come from different sources. So it is possible for us to make that change. And look, you know, as an aside, and I think I mentioned this in a recent episode when we were talking about opportunity. You know, 2021 being the year of opportunity. I mentioned a book by Evan Pagan called Opportunity, and in that though, there's a section where he refers to you know, fear. You know, our fear is what prevents us from actually acting on opportunities that arise, or acting on what actually motivates us. So do you have any strategies for how we can address that negative self-talk and that fear?
Most definitely. So, you know, that motivational map, right, is going to help you to bring out the clarity and your purpose in life, and it serves as your roadmap towards achieving your success. So whatever fears you have, and you know, listeners, I was there when I was working for corporate. Yes, I had all those fears because I got to a point where I was unable to make progress. So I felt, oh, you know what, am I good enough? Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not doing this right, or maybe I can't do this right. It wasn't until Raj, you know, eluded me to do this, to take on this motivational map, and addressed my motivators, that I began to see. Hang on a second. I've got to overcome my negative self talk or my demons. It's all in front of me. I can see my clarity and what my purpose in life is. It's shown me, and now I took that roadmap and followed that roadmap to where I am today. And so I can't stress highly enough to the listeners that by doing this map, it will give you a lot of clarity and purpose in your life. And that will be the start of your roadmap.
So in addressing our negativity, so we've got our roadmap, which shows us what our motivators are. Is this where we start to talk about this idea of mindset?
Yes. So our next motivator, yes, brings us to your mindset of abundance. So you know, the key principle for a mindset of abundance is to accept that there is plenty to go around for everyone. A lot of business owners tend to say, you know, I can't share my secret with her, or no, you've got to pay me certain amount because otherwise she'll steal my secret. But there's plenty. There's a whole ocean of fish out there. There's plenty for everyone. Share your knowledge, you know, leverage off each other, and you'll find that the more you give, the more you get. So, what does that mean, Paul? When we say that the key principle of a mindset of abundance is to accept that there is plenty to go around for everyone. So, really, listeners, what that means is that for businesses, there's plenty of opportunity for all of us. Everybody can achieve whatever it is they want, be it attracting your opportunities, more wealth, or even better relationships. By cultivating a mindset of abundance, it takes time to do that. A conscious effort and practice has to be given to that. So it actually starts off with the focus on what we have already. So gratitude. Gratitude plays a huge part in it. Be grateful for every little thing that we have, or for what we have. We have a roof over our head, we have a plate of food, we have a place to sleep, we have plants, whatever it is, but be grateful. And sorry, I just lost my, my train of thought there.
That's right.
Sorry. Sorry, Paul.
That's okay.
Okay, so by cultivating a mindset of abundance, it takes time and a conscious effort and practice. So it actually starts off with focusing on what we already have. right? Being grateful for what we have. You know, each of us has got plenty. Yes, we all think we always want more. It's human nature. But to be thankful for, having a roof over our head, food on a plate, a plate of food, a bed to sleep on, just minor things, even your plants in your garden, the sunshine, just be grateful. And by choosing to see the positives and focus on what we have, no matter how little, just be grateful for that. The more grateful we are for what we have, the less we focus on what we don't have. So the more grateful we are, the more we're going to attract. And
Yeah, look, I think that's another thing that a lot of business owners, particularly overlook or forget about, is that there are successful things that they do, and they ignore that they have actually been successful. They've probably set a too big a goal without having like little milestones along the way, and forget to recognize that each time they've reached one of those milestones, they've actually done something successful. They've achieved in their business. They've achieved towards their goal, their ultimate goals. So I think we tend to forget the good things that we have and the good things that we've achieved.
that's 100% true, Paul. A lot of business owners are very hard on themselves, and they become so involved in the business that they don't see the good that they're doing because they're not taking a helicopter view of their business. They're too busy, like firefighting or actually doing the business instead of saying, you know what, I've got to take a step back. My business is great. I've created something great. Now I need to progress. I need to give myself credit. I need to be thankful for what I've got. And now I need to grow that business to make it even better. A lot of business owners do not, say that or do that and give themselves a pat on the back. Always do that. Just be grateful for what you have.
Yeah, and I think that leads into, I guess, your next point about this idea of having a healthy mind, body, and spirit, in that we don't often, as business owners, look after our own selves. We don't look after our own conditions, our own our own health, because we're so busy doing, and we don't take that time out. So, what are we talking about? How does that healthy mind and body lead into that mindset of abundance, or develop from that mindset of abundance?
Well, Paul, last year we acquired a client, fun enough, who started a business that he was operating from his apartment. He was putting in over 100 hours a week, and just neglecting his little kids. He had this brilliant idea of what he really wanted to achieve, and while he had this idea, the funny thing is he had no strategy. He had no strategy to implement his ideas. So he came to, he was referred to by a friend, and so he contacted us. So when he came to us, he was on the verge of giving up. He just had enough. He couldn't handle his business. He didn't know what he was doing because he had no strategy. So we helped him to set up his mission, his vision statement, and a very high level executive strategy for his business. Today, that very same client has an up and running successful business. He's generating income. He's reduced his working hours from 100 hours to 50 hours. I mean, still long enough. They're still long hours, but they're very reduced to when he started. But most importantly, he's got this glow. He's enjoying his work. He's spending time with his children, and he's taking a helicopter view now of his business. And he's able to enjoy all the things that he was not able to do when he was working those hours. He was under constant stress. He neglected his health. So now he's now joined a gym. He's exercising. He goes for his regular checkups. He's even gone into a class with meditation. So he's changed his whole lifestyle, where he's now a brand new person, right? And now we're looking towards helping him to reduce those hours even further and creating a work-life balance, a proper work-life balance for him, where he can now afford to even say, look, I'm going to go away for a few, a week or so on a holiday, and my business will be fine. And so it's really, really important. Another thing, listeners, is once Deepak Chopra, I'm sure you all heard of him, once said, when mind, body, and spirit are in harmony, happiness is the natural result. Having a good mental health helps you enjoy life and cope with your challenges. What does it do? It makes you feel more energized and leaves you better dealing with any challenges you may face. So, your inner strength is your North Star guiding you toward achieving outcomes and living your life of abundance. And I hope the listeners have got a lot of value out of this here. And I can't stress enough, listeners, coming from me who was once right at the bottom of the barrel in my job, and finding that light via this beautiful, amazing tool called the motivational map.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing that, Rita. And look, it's something that we see as well when we're first meeting with business owners. Often their whole reason or their motivation for going into business is very different to the kind of business that they're operating and what they've got. And there's this huge, I guess, conflict between the two, between their motivation and their goals and what their business actually looks like. And we need to bring that business in line with their motivations, take the steps there. So identifying what needs to be done to actually create the business that is in line with their motivation, create a business that actually helps them enjoy the life that they want. And we do need to be very clear about, what is your motivation and how you actually look after yourself. Because we often see business owners that have not taken a holiday for 4 to 10 years, and it's not a good outcome for you as a business owner. It's not a good outcome for you as a person or for your family. So we need to have that balance in place. We need to have that good mindset there, that abundant mindset. Get rid of that negative talk, and really look after ourselves. So have a good, healthy, not just physical body, but our mind as well. So thank you, Rita, for sharing all of that with us. It's been great to unpack those 5 pillars of success. If you missed the first one, then I encourage you to go back and listen to the last episode where we really unpacked the idea of what is our primary motivator. And look, there's some tools on the Keystone Business Advisory website, and we're going to put the links to that in the show notes. But also, you can reach out to Rita through the website. And Rita, you're also on LinkedIn and social media as well?
Yes, I am. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram.
Great. Well, we're going to put those links in the summary notes as well, and you can reach out to Rita through those methods. But I encourage you to have a look at the Keystone website and look at that motivational map. It's a great starting point for really creating a successful, not just 2021, but beyond that.
Definitely.
Your long-term success. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Rita. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and you've really nailed it here. We're talking about what's critical for identifying how we can have a successful year. And I encourage people to really delve into this and identify what motivates them and make those choices. Look, it's punishing yourself if you're staying in a job or a business that's not in line with what motivates you, what drives you. So it's very important to sort that out, to identify what motivates you, and create the business that matches your goals, your personality.
You've just summed that up so beautifully, Paul, because a lot of people think that having a passion for something, can easily turn into a business, and that's not the case. So before you do go down the path of just saying, I'm passionate about baking, let me make that into a business, do the motivational map. Let's find out whether that is your true motivation.
Yeah, that's right. Because you can be very good at baking, but you may not want to deal with all the business issues that come with it. Because
Exactly.
running a business is a lot different to just doing the job. And if baking makes you happy, but the whole business idea really turns you off, then perhaps going into business is not
Exactly.
as a baker is not for you. So
That's right.
yes, great. Well, thank you, Rita. It's been a pleasure, and there are plenty of other topics that we're going to get you to talk about in the future. Really enjoyed our conversation today, and thank you again.
Thank you very much, Paul. I thoroughly enjoyed the session, and I hope your listeners did get a lot of value out of it. But please do reach out, and I'm more than happy to help the listeners out there.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks for listening. Do you have a question you'd like our team of experts to answer? If you do, send your question to podcast@thebusinessbehindyourbusiness.com. To hear more from The Business Behind Your Business, don't forget to subscribe using your favourite podcast player. Or you can visit the businessbehindyourbusiness.com website.